Into lands long drowned in shadow, a sudden radiance breaks. Not from within us, not born of our striving, but given. A light rises on people accustomed to night. This light does not flicker. It does not fear the darkness. It undoes it. Burdens splinter, yokes fall powerless to the ground, and every weapon once raised in terror is gathered up like kindling for the fire of a new world. And the source of this impossible dawn, not a philosophy, not an organizing system, not a movement, but a child, a son, the one whose shoulders carry the government all others could only imitate, whose peace requires no armies, whose justice needs no revision, whose kingdom does not rise and fall with the moods of nations. He is wonderful counselor, wisdom deeper than ages. He is mighty God, power that speaks galaxies into being, yet bends low to bind the broken. He is everlasting Father who never grows weary in his love. He is Prince of Peace, the one who reconciles all things in heaven and on earth, making enemies into families by the blood of his cross. Of the increase of his kingdom, there is no end, no expiration date, no election cycle, no decay. The zeal of the Lord himself guarantees it. This is the light that has come, the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation, the one in whom, through whom, and for whom all things were made. Now born to us, now given for us, now shining upon us, and darkness cannot overcome him. Isaiah was well acquainted with darkness. Not just the darkness of night, but the shadows of life. Political darkness. Northern Israel has suffered repeated invasions. Cities are shattered, people deported, communities traumatized, the nation divided, leaders corrupt. Socioeconomic darkness, poverty and hardship, financial struggle and uncertainty for the ordinary person. The heaviness of daily life and economic insecurity with little hope for the future. And then the spiritual darkness, his people oriented away from God, given over to idolatry and rebellion, seeking satisfaction outside his covenant. People feeling abandoned by God or unheard by him. God's promises seem distant at best, unattainable at worst. Powerlessness, despair, fear, futility, a darkness that touched every part of life and every corner of the soul. It's a darkness that we all sense, a darkness too heavy for our human hands to lift. And yet, into that darkness breaks a light. Not by clever thinking, not by politics, not by wealth, nor power, not by movements, nor revolutions, but by the arrival of a child, the explosive entrance of the light of the world. The darkness that Isaiah felt is not unique to him. Every generation, every culture, including our own, is accustomed to the darkness and tries to provide solutions to that darkness. Consider some of the social systems or solutions that we've provided over the last 400 years. The Enlightenment carried with it a longing. If we could just think clearly and educate everybody, the world will be right. How's that working out? Capitalism. If people have opportunity and get reward for work, prosperity will lift society. Socialism or Marxism, if people share their resources and treat one another fairly, injustice ends. Democracy, if people can choose their leaders and restrain power, will find peace and justice. The sexual revolution of the 60s, if people are free from shame, constraint, and sexual repression, they'll find wholeness and love. The internet age, if people have ready access to the collective body of information, there will be no more error. The social media era, if we can all be connected, seen, and heard, we will no longer feel alone. Nationalism, if people can belong to shared culture and identity, no more division. Consumerism, if we can acquire enough comfort, beauty, security, we will finally be satisfied. Globalization, if we can unite world economies, cultures, and systems, we will understand each other and see peace and prosperity for all. Postmodernism, if we can free people from oppressive meta-narratives and deconstruct power structures, everyone will be heard and no one will be dominated. The wellness culture and therapeutic society, if people can use psychological tools, self-care, and therapy to heal their internal wounds and nurture their inner selves, we will find a flourishing society. Identity politics or expressive individualism, if we recognize, honor, and protect people's identities, we heal society. Secularism or new atheism, if we replace religion with science, ethics, and reason, we can eliminate superstition and tribalism, leading to a more loving world. And now AI and the promise of this AI future, if we remove human bias and error through data-driven systems, we can optimize life. Systems that attempt to bring light to a dark world. They may bring a flicker of light, but none of these can change the human heart, and none of them can dispel the darkness that we are surrounded by. Think about this. We have more mental health awareness than at any other time in history, yet more anxiety and depression. We have never been more sexually liberated and never more confused about what intimacy is. We live in one of the wealthiest nations in the world with material abundance, yet little contentment and little peace. We have an abundance of information at our fingertips, but very little wisdom, and common sense seems to be increasingly more uncommon. And we're more connected than we've ever been, yet more lonely than any other time in history. The solutions that we offer do not work. Why don't they work? The systems that we provide, one, underestimate human brokenness. They underestimate the brokenness of our human condition. Any system that we build will be corrupted by the people who build it and the people that it's built for. They overestimate the ability of systems and structures to provide virtue or Christ-like character or right living. The systems treat symptoms. They don't get to the roots of the problems. They can't answer existential questions. What are the existential questions? Why are we here? What's the meaning of life? What is good? What is truth? What's wrong with the world? How do we fix it? What happens when we die? What are we heading towards? The systems can't answer those questions. They promise progress, but human suffering just finds another way to persist and exist. They aim for freedom, but produce greater fragmentation. But into the darkness breaks a greater light. All attempts by humanity to bring light into the darkness are eclipsed by Jesus. Isaiah tells us of this divine interruption where Jesus, the light of the world, breaks in. It's a solution that's not discovered by our ingenuity. It arrives. It breaks in. A flip is switched and the lights go on. As Isaiah watched the people walking in darkness, he sees a great light dawning. I wonder what he sees. Does he see a vision of darkness over the city and the sun rising in that moment where the sun peeks over the horizon and illuminates the landscape? As he looks at the light, does he see a person in the center of the sunrise? As he looked, did he gaze upon the face of Jesus, not yet here on the earth? The surroundings light up. The actions of the people walking are clearly seen. The creation is illuminating. God's kingdom made visible in the person of Jesus. In Colossians, the Apostle Paul describes him this way. Jesus is the image of the invisible, The heart of God made visible in this person. The light of the world dawned with his arrival, the hidden longings of our hearts brought to the surface in Jesus, and every spiritual longing of every human being in all of time finding their answer in him. In him, all things were created. The one who created everything into being, the one who spoke creation into being, cooing in a manger, not yet able to form a word. The author of life stepping into the story, the creator becoming a creature in Jesus. Everything we have, everything we see made in him. In Jesus, all things hold together. Every atom of your being. Right now, as you sit here, according to Paul, every fiber of your being held together by Jesus. On the days when you wake up and you feel like giving up because there is no hope, he is the one that holds you together, and his is the strength that keeps you going. His grace. Think about this for the moment. In the middle of your deepest sin moments and your simplest sin moments, in the very moment of doing it, his holding you together. Isn't that crazy? Him holding you together, enabling you to do the very things that you choose that rebel against what is best for you. All things held together in him. He is the head of the church, nourishing, guiding, protecting, providing for you and for us. He knows you by name. Every hair on your head has been numbered. Some of us, the number is decreasing at a fairly swift rate. The hairs on your head are numbered. The one who governs the galaxies knows your name. It's insane. The one who throws stars into being knows the hairs on your head. The supreme Savior of the world who stoops down into the dirt of creation and saves those who cast themselves on his mercy. Paul says he's the firstborn of all creation, that in everything he would have supremacy. Jesus won't compete with other things for first place. He is first place. But when you put something in place over him, he lets you do it. He doesn't compete with it. He gives you over to those things, knowing the consequence of them will turn you back to him. The one who, when in first place, makes all things right. In him, in everything, he has supremacy. The light has already defeated the darkness. There is nothing for us to do. You know that it's not your job to defeat the darkness. It's not your job to fix the problem of sin. It's his job, and he's already done it. There is nothing for us to do. We simply fix our eyes on him and receive from him the free gift that he's given us and put him in that place of supremacy. We simply revel in who he is and the work that he has already accomplished. That's how darkness is driven by. That's where hope is found. For in him, God was pleased to have all his fullness dwell, the fullness of God dwelling in this person. No longer any part of God hidden behind a curtain. No longer one person that can get in and access him on that one day a year. No longer a veil over our eyes to keep us from seeing who he is and what he offers. The fullness of God dwelling in him, the answer to loneliness, to identity, to our seeking of purpose, a companion in our loneliness, the seal of our sonship, the giver of our purpose, the fullness of God, the light of the world in him. What a Jesus. And then beyond that, he reconciles through him all things to himself. Humanity, we are trying to fix the world from the outside in. Through systems, through politics, through philosophies, Jesus heals the world from the inside out. Jesus reconciling all things to himself. Every piece of shattered creation brought together. Every broken heart made new. Every inch of darkness driven back as peace comes and is restored in his marvelous light. The image of the invisible God making the invisible made visible to us, breaking in to the darkness of the world that we walk in. Every generation, including ours, every person is reaching for solutions to darkness. Every human created attempt at light is ultimately a longing for a world that only Jesus can bring. There's a hope that you are craving that is only ever satisfied when your eyes are fixed on him and you allow Jesus to exalt him to be the fullness of who he was intended to be. Jesus doesn't just bring light, he is light. He is the only one powerful enough to scatter the darkness. The only one radiant enough to reveal God's face. The only one strong enough to hold the universe together. And the only one humble enough to enter a cradle in a Bethlehem night. The Jesus that we worship. Every day we are living, the world is selling to us a vision of a type of light that will dispel the darkness. Every day we don't even realize it by the things that we watch and we engage in. We absorb the answers that the world is offering. Advent is the season. And some of what we're doing with the reading plan and the Zoom calls together is our attempt to build a structure that will keep the right message at the heart of this season. That rather than walk into the Christmas season overwhelmed by our bank account, by the state of the world around us, by the presents that we have to buy, by the dynamics of our family, that instead we will be overwhelmed by the beauty of the one who brings hope, who brings light, and who reconciles even the most broken of circumstances. We come together to celebrate the light giver, the only source of hope. So what is it that we do with a Jesus like this? What do we do? We rest in his radiance. We rest in who he is. We let the light of God's love eclipse our greatest fears. We simply behold the one who holds all things together, including the very fabric of our being. Hope. Hope is here not because we've climbed our way into the light, but because the light of the world has climbed down into our night, offering us the only hope that can ever satisfy the yearnings of our being and the groanings of creation. Into lands long drowned in shadow, a sudden radiance breaks. Not from within us, not born of our striving, but given. A light rises on people accustomed to night. This light does not flicker, it does not fear the darkness, it undoes it. Burdens splinter, yokes fall powerless to the ground, and every weapon once raised in terror is gathered up like kindling for the fire of a new world. And the source of this impossible dawn, not a philosophy, not an organizing system, not a movement, but a child, a son, the one whose shoulders carry the government all others could only imitate, whose peace requires no armies, whose justice needs no revision, whose kingdom does not rise and fall with the moods of nations. He is Wonderful Counselor, with wisdom deeper than ages. He is Mighty God, power that speaks galaxies into being, yet bends low to bind the broken. He is Everlasting Father who never grows weary in his love. He is Prince of Peace, the one who reconciles all things in heaven and on earth, making enemies into families by the blood of his cross. Of the increase of his kingdom, there is no end, no expiration date, no election cycle, no decay. The zeal of the Lord himself guarantees it. This is the light that has come, the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation, the one in whom, through whom, and for whom all things were made, now born to us, now given for us, now shining upon us, and darkness cannot overcome him. Coming into today, I just wanted to hold before us the image of the Jesus that we worship, the one we bring into, or the one we come into the Advent season to celebrate. I wanted us to be reminded of the beauty of who he is and what he offers to us. And so what do? With a Jesus like this, we worship. So I'm going to invite the band up in a moment, and we're going to worship together. We're just going to celebrate the one who is the image of the invisible God. We're going to celebrate the one who is the light and the hope of our world. Let's worship him in a moment. Let me pray. Jesus, you are the light and the hope of the world. You're the image of the invisible God. You are the firstborn of all creation. You are the one who holds all things together. You're the light that dawned in the darkness. You are the hope of a world. You are the hope of our lives. You are the healing of our heart, the companion in our loneliness, the answer to the deepest questions that we carry. Jesus, you are the rescuer of our souls, the healer of our broken hearts. You are the one who takes our sin and removes it as far as the east is from the west. God, you are the only person and the only system who can bring the hope and the healing that this world is needing. And so, God, as we enter into this Advent season, Jesus, would you lift our eyes to you? Help us to fix our eyes on you, the author and the perfecter of faith. God, as we walk into the darkness of the season, the nights come early, the Christmas lights are up. Lord, with every Christmas light we see, may it be a reminder of you breaking in. God, every moment that we see the darkness or feel the darkness, may it be a reminder that you are the hope of the world. Jesus, would you restore in us the joy of our salvation? Would you return to us the hope of the world, we pray.